everybody, welcome back. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World as we're bringing a double dose of Prime Sports World today. Our first episode was obviously Fantasy Football Rankings. If you missed that, that's on our YouTube page, our Twitter page, and our Twitch account. So go check that stuff out. This is the crossover, and we got a lot to talk about today on the crossover. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Bulls. We're going to be talking about the Brooklyn Nets, and an all-star voting is now officially open. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit. But yeah, I've been David Hupp, and right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. We're going to talk about the Bulls to start. But TJ, what's up, buddy?
None. Woke up about an hour ago, so I'm good. Good to go.
All right, for sure. Well, thank you very much for waking up early so we can jump onto the show, man, or late. I don't know which one it is. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the National Basketball Association. We only really have time to cover 3 topics a week. But let's first talk about the team that is near and dear to our heart, and the Chicago Bulls and the Brewing Brouhaha between the players, the front office, and his coaching staff. All is not well in the Windy City. The Bulls have major problems. 12 of 18. They're currently 11th in the Eastern Conference. They're 3-7 in the last 10 games. There is reported friction by multiple media outlets between the players, head coach, and the front office. Lonzo Ball still hasn't played a game yet this season. Young players like Patrick Williams really not developing the way people had hoped. The other issues, they owe future draft capital. 2023, they owe first-round pick to Orlando. It is top 4 protected. And then 2025, first-round pick is top 10 protected to the San Antonio Spurs. Let's just talk about the situation in Chicago. What needs to happen here for things to get better, or what do you think ends up happening as with this team?
Just win. That fixes everything. Like, if you look at some of the games they've lost and how they've lost, they are literally 4 games from being in the playoffs if the playoffs were to start today.
True,
right?
But if the playoffs were to start today, they'd be on the outside looking in.
They'd be on the outside looking in, and I'm just saying it's the same thing with Brooklyn when we'll get to them.
Yeah,
right. Just win. It's that simple. Like, you lose a game to the Atlanta Hawks at the buzzer on a lucky tip shot, right?
Yeah, and you lose a game to the Knicks where you got pushed into overtime, and then you lose in overtime,
right?
But I think the bigger issue is, like, sure, winning cures a lot, but I just don't think the Bulls are good enough to really compete this season. And the goal, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. I'm allowed to feel that way. I felt that way before the season even started. This isn't anything new. I just think the Bulls were slightly overachieving last season when they had the best record in the Eastern Conference, and then they fell down to earth and they had a lot of injuries. I don't know what the hell is going on with Lonzo Ball. Nobody does. If somebody says they know exactly what's going on with Lonzo Ball, they're lying. They have no idea. Nobody knows.
Well, that's I think he spoke to the media today, and I think that's what's been the frustrating part. Like, people don't want to hear from coaches, they don't want to hear from trainers.
Yeah.
They want to hear from him.
But I think that, like, the goal, in my opinion, this is my opinion. The goal for this Bulls season, for the rest of it, is to preserve that first round pick. That's my honest opinion. I think they should try to do whatever it takes to keep that pick in their arsenal. If they lose that pick to Orlando, I think it would be a disaster. In
order to do that, guess what they can't do, David? They can't trade anyone away.
Yes, they can.
So how is it like? So wait, if the draft is top 5, it goes to Orlando.
Top 4.
If the draft is top 4, it goes to Orlando.
Yeah.
So by trading our key guys away, that all ensures that we're giving that top 4 pick to Orlando.
No. The only way we'd get the pick is if it's in the top 4. So the only way to keep it is if it falls in the top 4. Every other scenario, it goes to Orlando.
And that is super unlikely either way. Like, even if we trade those guys away.
If they blow everything up, if they trade away Zach LaVine, which I'm not necessarily advocating for them to trade Zach LaVine, but that Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic trade with the 2 first-round picks, I would be seriously considering that if that's still on the table, even though Russell Westbrook has been playing better, so maybe that trade is no longer an option. But I would be thinking about that trade.
Like, that's my issue with Bulls fans. Or, like, we finally get a halfway decent team, and y'all initial reaction to the first sign of adversity, blow it up. It's not working. Like, bro, like what is with y'all? I will never understand y'all. The first sign of trouble, y'all tuck tail and run, talking about some trade everything. Blow it up. That is very, like,
I just don't think
No,
that
no,
this
no, no,
Bulls
no,
team,
no,
even
no, no.
fully healthy.
And
And
then
I'm not the. I'm not. I know I'm not the. I'm not. I know you're not singling me out personally, but I just think that this Bulls team, even when fully healthy and fully constructed, I just don't think they're good enough to compete with the upper echelon of either
like,
conference. I just
and
don't.
then so like we finally get a good team. Things go bad. They like y'all want to blow it up, and then when they suck, y'all complain how the Bulls suck. So it's like there's literally no satisfying
It is
y'all.
true. It is true. Like there's no satisfying this particular fan base. But you make the argument all the time that you would rather be a bottom dweller than as opposed to like a fringe playoff team.
But
Like
you can't. But the problem with that is,
being a fringe playoff team does literally nothing for the Chicago for most teams in the NBA. The other
but
thing, like the problem is the Bulls don't have draft capital or
and
money.
and the problem with the bottom being the bottom feeder is like how long do you plan on doing that? You can't like you can't be a bottom feeder for a whole decade. Like that's
I mean, you can if you ask the Sacramento Kings how that went.
and look how it's working out for them.
I mean,
Like
true. I mean, sure, Detroit's been pretty.
like
Pretty
you're gonna be
meh.
you're gonna be a bottom feeder for 10 years just to have one good season here and there. No, who does that?
Yeah, I think
So
I just don't know how we have a happy resolution with Bull season this year. Like I just
again, no, like again, like the cure all to anything because I guarantee you once again. The GM, the coach, this team, they don't give a damn about, oh, we should be like, we want their top 4 pick. No, shut up. They don't care. They want to win. They want to win.
I think the GM might care a little bit, but
like, no, they want to win. Like, seriously, like that's what it is. They want to win. And that's literally how they get everybody to shut up. That's how they literally get everybody to leave them alone. Just have a couple stretches where instead of going 3-7-10, have a couple 7-3s, a 6-4. Like that's literally the winning cures all. Like everybody wants to blow the whole like so like they had an embarrassing game against the Minnesota Timberwolves the other night. They gave up 150 points, right? They are like the reports are they had a little what you call it, not even a scuffle, just a
verbal altercation.
A verbal altercation in the locker room with dealing with Zach LaVine and some of the other like and everybody has come out and said like if you're not mad about that, then why are you here? Like seriously,
Yeah,
if you're not seriously, like if you give up 150 points to a team down its top 2 players, and literally one dude and the island.
D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Edwards buried them basically.
Bro, like it was that kind of like D'Angelo Russell.
They combined for like 60 points. Like you're not going to win games.
D'Angelo Russell caught a ball, like a loose ball, at the top of the logo, the Timberwolves logo, and just threw it up to beat the shot clock, and it went in. Like it was that kind of night. Like it was like, come on. It was one of those. Like every shot they threw up, it was like, come on, man. Like
and the other thing is, there's really no satisfying Chicago Bulls fans. Like even when he made the Vucevic,
there's no satisfying Chicago fans. Like whatever.
True. I mean, true. You're not wrong. Look at everybody wants to complain about Justin Fields. You know, he's been the best quarter we've had in like since Cutler. Like let's
seriously.
But I think a lot of people like they look at the Vooch trade. They complained about that at the time, which I at the time was all about it. I thought it was a really good trade. I thought he was a guy who was still in his prime. It doesn't look as good now, based on the fact that Wendell Carter Jr. has gotten better, but he was never going to develop into the player he is now in Chicago. They got Franz Wagner out of that trade. He would not have developed into the player he is now in Chicago. Maybe, who knows?
Well, who knows? But that's the thing. Like, so like they talk about some Vucevic, like the Bulls gave up this to get the Bulls gave up this to get Vucevic. It's like no,
they gave up Wendell Carter Jr. and 2 lottery picks. Picks, basically.
Wendell Carter Jr. was trash when he was here. Like
couldn't stay healthy, couldn't stay on the floor.
Couldn't stay healthy, and against the other premier bigs in the league, he was getting his ass worked.
And now he's playing. And now he's playing on a not good Magic team, putting up garbage numbers. Like putting up good numbers on a bad basketball team. That's
on a bad basketball.
Team. That's kind of how the way things go sometimes. Like you play on a trash basketball team, you put up crazy numbers. Like and there are tons of incidents throughout the history of the NBA where a player put up tons of empty numbers, and then you put him on another team, he just doesn't produce.
And then so really what they're really frustrated is I guess is the pick that probably would have been ours turned into Franz Wagner. And who knows what Franz Wagner would do in a Bulls uniform. I feel like you know how you get a player like in the league and they say like, hey, he'd be good anywhere.
Yeah,
Franz Wagner is gonna probably be that kind of dude.
I
Like
agree. I agree. I like
it's
his game a lot.
it's not looking like that right now because he's on a bad Orlando team. Like you can
But
say that about
he's putting up solid numbers on their team.
like
He's
you
a
can,
do it all guy. He's basically a poor man's Luca. Like he could do a lot of Luca
basically
like he could do a lot of Luca like stuff.
he just don't have what you call it the stocky build
Yeah.
that Luca because they both about the same height. They both are
Yeah,
what
they're both
six
like
seven,
six
six
seven,
eight,
6'8", but
six
he
eight.
doesn't have he's at way like 280
Oh
or
my
whatever.
yeah he don't
Whatever Luca rolling out there.
he definitely needs some more bricks in the back pocket. But
Uh,
again,
so
my cure all to it is just
I'm of the
winning.
opinion. I know you think that the Bulls should winning cures all, but in my opinion, I think if there's a trade for DeRozan and Vooch, I wouldn't trade Levine. I think he's too valuable to the overarching narrative for the Bulls, and I want to
Hmm.
keep Zach Levine. When the Bulls get good, Zach Levine should be on that team. But I think DeMar DeRozan and Vucevic, if you can get, I would be doing that Russell Westbrook trade. I just would.
I don't know, like to me it depends. Like I wouldn't do that trade. Like I would call like I would go back to the teams like New Orleans, right? Like you need that like teams that need that like that final push, that vet like some more veteran presence.
Yeah,
Like
DeMar DeRozan would be filthy nasty on the
so
Pelicans.
like
I'm not sure
and
what they have trade wise. I mean, we talked about this last episode actually. Devontae Graham and some stuff.
well no well obviously like you want the you want some kind of draft capital, right? You got
Yeah,
to get
yeah. I mean,
you
you get
got to
Devontae
get that.
Graham. You probably get either one of Herb Jones or Trey Murphy,
I
whichever
would
one.
probably go Trey Murphy.
Yeah, I don't think Herb Jones seems he's like untouchable. And then if you get, they have a treasure chest of first round picks. If you can get a first round pick out of them, they'll never trade us that Laker pick. But some of the other assets that they have, like we could just. I think that's a trade that should happen.
So
Like
so it's
something.
like I probably don't want Devontae Graham because I got enough guards as
Well, I think
is.
they
Like
need somebody to make the money work, and the Devontae Graham is really a placeholder contract. Like it just is.
so like I would go.
That's what his life is at this point.
So I don't know. I'll probably go Trey Murphy. I'll probably go maybe one or two picks, like depending on how much they're willing to give up.
Well, they got to
Uh,
match like DeMar DeRozan's
oh,
$30 million salary. So like the
okay, so
salary thing is like really the holding point here. Like, I don't know who New Orleans has on their roster that has money on their
I
contracts.
don't know either. You got what you call
They're
I
not. I
would
mean, they're not trading. They're not trading McCollum. They're trying to trade Zion. They're not trading Brandon Ingram.
yeah
Like, they're not. They're not trading Steven or Valanciunas either.
Valanciunas.
Yeah. Hold on.
But like it's weird though, because it's like I know they're not complaining because like their rotation is what it is and they're winning. But again, you spent the first round draft pick on a 10th overall pick on Jackson Hayes, and like he's just completely out of the rotation. Like you're not doing anything with him,
True.
right? So what is like I don't get that. Like I don't understand that at all. Like would he help the Bulls? I don't know, but I don't
He
know.
would for sure help the Bulls. Like a big wing that can defend a little bit. Yeah, that would for sure help the
Yeah,
Bulls.
super athletics. Like just be a nuisance, right? Like just be right. Like just be long and lanky. That's literally all we asking you to do. Um,
I mean,
yeah, like just
they do have Larry Nance's contract that they could trade instead of Devontae Graham. But
I don't think they're gonna do that one either. Like he kind of fits what they like to do. Like they have like four or five just long dudes, right? Like Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Bi, that's three. Nance is four. So like they just
so
got
yeah,
length.
that trade does not work. Like the money. So if we get DeMar DeRozan for Devontae Graham, Jackson Hayes, and Trey Murphy, would not be enough salary to make that trade work. Like they need to add like what else is on this team? Hold on a second.
And draft picks don't have financial
No.
compensation.
I mean,
Which
Kira Lewis is somebody that could be injected in this trade. I do like him. I liked him coming out of college, but Dyson Daniels is making 5.5. I don't necessarily think that they would trade him away, but he's somebody to make the money work. So it'd have to be somebody else. If Garrett Temple, who we wouldn't want to, I don't think we'd make that trade. But if they were to give us Kira Lewis, I wonder if this works. So yeah,
um,
so the Bulls could do Devontae Graham as contract filler, Jackson Hayes, Kira Lewis, Trey Murphy, and then the 2023 first round pick that the Pelicans own, their own first round pick for DeMar DeRozan. Would you do that if you were a Bulls fan?
Say it again.
So it's Devontae Graham purely to make the money work. Jackson Hayes, Kira Lewis, Trey Murphy, and the Pelicans their own first round pick for DeMar DeRozan. Would you make that trade? Yes or no?
I would consider it because like
I would make that trade.
I would consider because I know that I know that first round pick is likely gonna be towards the second half of the first round, like the bottom half of the second.
Well, you got to think about it. If you're trading DeMar DeRozan to the Pelicans, that's going to make that pick worse every game that he plays.
But say it again.
Like, so if you trade DeMar DeRozan to the Pelicans, he makes them a better basketball team. So the pick that you traded for, right, the 2023 first round pick that's theirs,
right,
DeMar DeRozan makes them a better team. So that pick loses value just by making it being involved in the trade.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be a later.
Yeah.
A later
they have other options. I mean, they have Milwaukee's pick this year, or next year actually, but as part of the Drew Holiday trade. I mean, I don't think that's valuable.
No, because like that's the same situation. Like Milwaukee,
there's no way they trade this Laker pick. Like, there's just no way. Like, zero chance.
Unless they just get a deal.
I mean, that Laker pick might be the most valuable trade asset in the NBA right now.
I don't know. Like I don't know. Again, I think like winning cures all. Like the trade deadline is I don't know how far away, far off.
It's like 2 months. I mean, the trade deadline is somewhere in February, somewhere right before the All-Star break, and which isn't until February.
A lot can happen.
I mean, there's for sure still time to right the ship, and like,
a lot can happen in 2 months. Like we pretty much wrote Boston off last season, and
it's true.
Look what happened.
I mean, Boston was at about the same point. I mean, they were about 500, a little bit better than this. But I think that one of the other issues, I think these young players on the Bulls just don't seem to be developing under.
It's just a lack
Billy
of.
Donovan.
It's not that they're not developing. Like it's just a lack of consistency. Like namely with Pat Williams. Like bro, like one game you're super aggressive, you're going after it, and you can literally get. Like you can, like in the NBA, you can literally get 10 to 12, maybe even 14 points just off hustle plays alone. Just being at the right spot at the right time. Like you can literally get 10 to 14 hustle points off hustle plays alone. The fact that like he is too many games far and few in between of his hustle that happens. Like so he gets that right. Like he may have a game where he scores like 14, 15, maybe even 17 points, right? And then he has 4 or 5 games in a row of 7, 9, 8, 6, and then he'll give another 14, and then there's 5 more 7s. Not like, bro, like no. At this stage of the game, like you should be at least a 12 to 15 point a game scorer.
He should have a consistent role every single night. He just hasn't really done that. We'll revisit the Bulls periodically throughout the season because that is our favorite team, both of ours. We'll see what ends up happening. I think if the season continues to go, I still push with trading away DeMar DeRozan and not Zach LaVine, Vucevic, if you get the opportunity. Because I don't know. We'll talk about him. Moving on to the team on the other end of the spectrum, the bounce back from the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are balling right now. They're 19-12. I think they just beat down Golden State. I don't think that game is final yet, but it might as well be.
Hold on. Yeah, it might as well be. It's
112 to 87 in the fourth quarter.
87 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving did not even play in this game, and they still put up 90 points in one quarter or one half. Or was it
like, bro?
quarter?
Like it was a half. Like that's like first. Hey, bro. First off, if you scored 90 points in the quarter. Like,
okay. So yeah, they're about to win 7 straight. So that means they won 11 out of the last 12 games. They will be 18-7 since Steve Nash was fired. They'll be 12-3 since Kyrie Irving returned. KD 36-5. Kyrie 26-4. Basically 5-5. Both players are currently playing over 36 minutes a night. There are 2 of only 3 players on the roster even remotely close in minutes. Do you know the other guy that's playing over 30 minutes a night for this team right now?
Royce O'Neal.
Good job. Nice work. And I was going to talk about this, but because Kyrie Irving didn't play, this was the first time that since they put the construction team together that the Brooklyn Nets were going to have a completely clear injury report going into a game.
Well, I'm not even sure that Kyrie's hurt. I just think they just kept him off. Like is he
I mean,
hurt?
maybe, but I mean, they have to give a reason why he's not playing. I mean, you can't just.
Like
They
rest
have,
is
they have
not.
to they have to put something on the injury report the reason he's not playing. But this was going to be the first game where they would not have had a single player on the injury report since KD and Kyrie signed there 3 freaking years ago. Think about that.
That's crazy.
Like that's crazy. Like not a single player on their injury report 3 years for 3 years. It didn't like that is some wild statistics right there.
That just goes to show like how like what could have been, right? Like, and can you imagine what this team could have been like had they been healthy the entire time? Like the entire time, like Kyrie don't roll his ankle against the Bucks. James Harden don't damn near tear his hamstring off the bone, right? Like, can you like Ben Simmons don't miss a whole year with a back injury? Like, can you imagine what they would have been, what they probably would have accomplished had they been injured, like had they been healthy the entire time? Like, I still don't think Nash was the right guy for the job because like that's a big responsibility for that to be your first head coaching job in the NBA. Right,
John Kahn is now they removed the interim tag for him. He's now the official head coach of this team. Not that it means a whole lot with the way NBA teams fire coaches, but Brooklyn Nets, they've increased their point differential because we were talking about them. What was back a couple months, like a month ago almost. They were for sure like out of the playoff hunt, not involved, and now they're the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. I mean, this could be the same swing the Bulls take as well. This is the same swing the Boston took last season. They were like a fringe playoff team, and then they went on a run. This is what happens in the NBA. Teams go on a run. They're not like you have this much talent on your roster. You're eventually going to rise to the top. That's how it goes.
Yeah, and it's like again, like I remember like when they were struggling and they asked Kevin Durant like what can be done to fix this, and he said just like we got to win. And Shannon Sharp and then was like, oh, so you just think winning gonna take like yes, literally like yes, because like what y'all not talking about no more.
Yeah, it's true. Nobody, all of the outside noise that was surrounding the Brooklyn Nets that we're not going to address here on this channel again has been pushed away. Nobody's talking about any of that stuff. They're not talking about the Steve Nash tenure. They're not talking about the Kyrie Irving stuff. Like they're talking specifically about basketball, and that's what you want when you're the Brooklyn Nets. You want people talking about your basketball.
Yeah, like the only issue right now is like what shoe company is Kyrie Irving gonna sign with? Because every time he out there, he's wearing like whatever color his shoes is. That's the color tape he has over the Nike logo, so it don't show the Nike logo, like because Nike dropped them, right? So that's literally the only quote unquote controversy that's going on.
That will not impact the team whatsoever.
Right, that's the only quote unquote controversy that's going on.
And I also think the Ben Simmons stuff. Like, sure, he's been better as of late.
He's been better.
I still don't think he's been the defensive force that they really anticipated when they traded for him in the first place. But he's only playing like 27 minutes a night. I'd like to see that get over 30.
Well, like again, like it's one of those things like you can't rush it. Just first off, be happy that he's playing. Like as a basketball fan, like be happy that he's playing. Right? He played.
I mean, he's only playing like half the games right now with injury. Like.
So like he played tonight. He started tonight. He played in. Let me pull it up. He's played
in 21 games. He started in 16. So I think that means he's missed. I don't know what that math is.
19 or 20.
He's missed like 10 games, something like that.
He still played more. He's still been in more than what he's still played more than what he's missed.
Sure.
But and tonight got out of hand, so he didn't need to play more than 19 minutes tonight. Sure. Right? So
I mean, and they have been blowing out teams, so that's why he's only averaged like 22 minutes a night over the last 10 games. So when your team is up big, you don't necessarily need to run your players in the ground. But this is, I mean, what's behind the Brooklyn Nets turnaround? They just started winning basketball games.
They started winning.
Yeah, they started winning, playing competitive games. We'll revisit Brooklyn here coming up.
So the other night they played Detroit, right? It was a close game against the Pistons, right? It was they won by 3, 124, 121.
Cleveland's putting it on Milwaukee right now. Holy shit.
He played he played 25 minutes that night, right? So in 25 minutes, like he didn't score a lot, but he had 8 rebounds and 8 assists. Right, like
I mean, that's what
that's
you, I mean, that's what you want out of them. I mean, but they do have a really tough stretch coming up here. Golden State tonight, obviously that they went in their favor, but the Milwaukee, Cleveland, Atlanta, Chicago, New Orleans, Miami, Boston. So I think after this stretch, I think that's a 10-game stretch. I left out, San Antonio, the Charlotte Hornets, and Oklahoma City when I talk about those 10 games. By the way, is San Antonio just free falling right now? Like, what is it like? I know this is way off topic. Like, San Antonio, they're just like they do not care about winning games ever again. And so Jeremy Shoshan has become Dennis Rodman, right? He's like becoming like, oh, I'm going to be Dennis Rodman. Like, he's shooting free throws. He's shooting free. I know he's shooting abysmal from the line, but he's shooting free throws one-handed. He's got green hair and he's wearing number 10.
Well, like when you shoot. When you're shooting
46% from the line,
46% from the line, like, hey, you try anything that works, right?
I mean, I guess what is he going to do next? He's going to start shooting an underhand granny style.
Why not? Right? Like, again, whatever works.
But back to Brooklyn. But yeah, they're like, so this next stretch of 10 games will really show like what they are forward wise, because they haven't really played the upper echelon of either conference in a while, over the course of this, winning streak. I mean, they beat Memphis, but other than Memphis and Philadelphia, they haven't really played anybody else. Boston, who they lost to, but everybody else, I think it's a team that you expect them to beat. Like Milwaukee, that's going to be a tough matchup. You expect them to go toe to toe. So
didn't they play each other earlier?
They've already played twice. So I think they've split the season series already.
Okay,
something like that.
Like you really want. And that's a tall order to fill, right? You're gonna ask Ben Simmons to really try to guard Giannis, because he's really the only one who can match up with him. Like,
they got to put Ben Simmons on. That's why they got him.
Right, that's why they got him. Like he matches up height, body length, like all that good stuff. Like he's the carbon copy of the guy that you want to stop.
Giannis.
And so we'll see, right? Like we'll see what
ends up happening. Moving on from Brooklyn, let's talk about the All-Star Game 2023. Gonna be in Utah. All-Star voting started yesterday. It runs all the way until January 21st. The first vote return is actually on Christmas Day, December 25th. The All-Star Game is Sunday, February 19th. In Salt Lake City, as I mentioned earlier. So this is how the starters work. The fans get 50%, players get 25%, and the media get 25% for just the starters. I think players and media get to pick the reserves, but the fans have a big vote. I mean, this is the game is essentially for the fans, so I don't have no problem with them having more vote than anybody else. Last year, 2 stars made their first All-Star game, John Morant and Andrew Wiggins. Do you think that happens this year?
Do I think what happens this year?
So last year, 2 All-Star starters made their first All-Star game, right? John Morant and Andrew Wiggins. They were first-time All-Stars. They were both starters. Do you think there will be any first-time All-Star as a starter this year?
I don't think so. It's kind of hard.
I got one.
Who?
Who do you think I got as the one guy?
I don't know.
Tyrese Halliburton. I think Tyrese Halliburton, I think, has the when we talk about the East, we'll get to the All-Stars here in a second. But actually, the guys we actually think will actually make the All-Star team, Tyrese Halliburton has an argument to be he's been the best guard in the Eastern Conference this year so far.
Yeah, speaking of him, I did not have Tyrese Halliburton and Wally Zerbiak beefing on my 2022 bingo card.
But Tyrese Halliburton, his numbers have been insane. He's really taken a really major step forward. He's probably the front runner for most improved player. His turnover to assist ratio, I think he went at one point. He was like 50-0 in one stretch. He had 50 assists and 0 turnovers for a 4-game stretch. Tyrese Halliburton has been awesome, and I think he's well deserving of being being a starter in this year's All-Star game.
I don't like it's hard to put him over Donovan Mitchell. It's hard to put him over.
You get 2.
Okay, but that's the thing. Like who? Like you put who you putting him over?
I mean, we'll get to the people that I have as my all-star starters. I do have him as an all-star starter. I have him over Trae Young. I think he's been more impactful to that team. But I could see people taking the argument that Trae Young should be the starter. The other guy that I think could be in the conversation is SGA. I don't know how much that team record is going to impact his ability to be an all-star, but if there's a guy who deserves to be a first-time all-star and be a starter in the Western Conference at the guard position, SGA is a guy that's been awesome this season.
Absolutely. That's probably your most improved. Like he has been. That dude's a killer.
I mean, he was already good, but he's only just gotten better.
Like that dude's a killer.
So yeah, I think outside of those two guys, I don't think there'll be a player who's a first-time All-Star and also a starter in the All-Star game. So we'll think and see how that shakes out. But let's talk about who you have as your All-Star starters. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference. Who's your 5 guys?
Like I really haven't thought about it, right? Because again, like the vote just started. I think like for like just off rep alone, Donovan Mitchell's going to be a guy in the East.
I'll give you my 5, and you can tell me what you think of it.
Go ahead.
All right, so in the front court, I got. I think the front court is front court the big guys. Rhyme me again.
Front court is the big guys, yes.
All right, so yeah, my front court is Jason Tatum, Giannis, Embiid.
Yeah.
My backcourt.
Go ahead.
My backcourt is Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay. Kevin Durant got to be in that somewhere. I don't know where, but Kevin, because Kevin Durant been like even amongst all the chaos, Kevin Durant just been.
You know what?
Even balling.
Okay. I'm taking Embiid out. I guess.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, who do you take out in that scenario? Because it has to be somebody who's. It has to be either Tatum or Giannis or Embiid.
And like they trying to crown Jason Tatum as the MVP already,
man,
right?
He's been the best player on the best team so far this season. So I don't necessarily hate him wearing that crown so far. I don't think that's tough. Somebody who's very good is going to miss not be an all-star starter.
Somebody who's very good is not going to be an all-star starter. Like that is the absolute truth.
Yeah. I don't know where Kevin Durant goes. I don't know who he goes over. I guess I take him over Embiid because he's for sure not going over Tatum or Giannis, just based on popularity alone. I think, but the backcourt I think is interesting because Donovan Mitchell I think is a lock. I think the other guard position is more up in the air. I mean, because there's going to be the Jimmy Butler fans, even though he hasn't had a good season. I mean, Zach LaVine voters always kind of go out and vote for their guy.
I kind of think and I don't think I don't think Zach LaVine's. I think
Trae Young actually probably will be the other guy actually.
The other guy. And Zach LaVine. I don't think Zach LaVine will be a starter, but I think he'll get in. Like I think he'll.
I do not think he'll get in.
Of course you don't.
Yeah, of course. And then going over on the West side, I got the West was much easier to put together. I got in the front court, I got Luka and Steph because duh. And then the other guys, I got LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Jokic.
If AD shit.
Well, this is voting, so I mean I know.
The thing is, I get it. It's easier to do like the whole East versus West thing, but they don't do it like that no more. Like they do.
Okay.
They do like the whole team captain thing, and
yeah, I know, but they still get the players from the different conferences. I mean, I think Anthony Davis is the only question mark on especially when it comes to the West. Steph Curry's having a better season now than when he won his unanimous MVP statistically. Luka is just a darling when it comes to sports fans right now. LeBron is LeBron. Jokic is the reigning MVP, and he's been even better almost this season.
He might be the third guy to go back to back to back. Like that's only happened.
But if you don't put Anthony Davis, I mean Zion is the other guy that maybe has an argument. I think Anthony Davis has been so good. Like I think you have a hard time not putting him as an all-star starter through 25 games.
Yeah, like especially with AD, it's like what we got to account for now is like players being out, players being hurt, because like two of the guys that you named, AD and Steph, they are out for significant lengths of time. Like they are out for like a month, like a
Yeah.
month on, and that month could turn like depending on how the season goes, that month could turn into 2 months, depending on how things go. Um, so like you gotta like what you gotta account for in that situation is who steps up while those two dudes are out. So like a SGA could take full advantage of Steph being out for as long as he is,
I mean,
and just
you could make that argument that SGA is having a better season than Steph, even with the historic numbers that Curry's putting up right now this
like
season.
Zion, Dame, like these are two guys that could like these are guys like hell. What's his name?
Well, Damian Lillard's missed a bunch of time, but
So what's his name? Sabonis. Sabonis could be the first All Star for the Kings in like
but
20 years.
they're for sure going to get somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. I
I
mean,
don't know
De'Aaron
who it's
Fox
gonna
or
be.
Zabon. They're going to get somebody in the All Star game. I'm sure of it.
So it's like one of those two dudes is gonna be the first All Star for the Sacramento Kings in like 20 years. I'm not exaggerating.
I mean,
Like
didn't DeMarcus Cousins make it as an All Star for the
I
Kings?
don't think so.
I'm pretty sure he did. I could be wrong. I've been wrong majority of my life, so just roll with it. But yeah, I think All Star voting is open. And I love talking about All Stars and like who could be the first time All Star. I do think SGA and Tyrese Halliburton will both be first time All Stars this year. I think they both get in eventually.
All right, I'm not saying that they're not gonna be first time All Stars. I just don't think they're gonna start. Like, for you can be like,
We'll see. Let's move on from the final category today, and that is GOAT Talk. If you don't know what GOAT Talk, that is where players who didn't necessarily get the shine while they're in the National Basketball Association, we give them their shine now in this conversation as we put two of the lesser-known players in the NBA up against each other, giving you just their profiles and revealing the player afterwards, going up head-to-head. Let's start, because I almost never do GOAT Talk because I'm a very busy man. Let's start with the number one first player. He played 13 seasons in the NBA. He played from 1988 to 2001. He was a first-round pick to the Los Angeles Clippers, but never played for them. He played for the Sixers, the Hornets, Seattle Supersonics, and Chicago Bulls. He made one All-Star game in 1991. He was All-NBA Rookie Team. He was All-NBA Sportsman Award in 1999. AP Player of the Year in college in 1988, Oscar Robertson Trophy in 1988, Adolph Rupp Trophy in 1988, UPI Player of the Year in 1988. He was the NCAA scoring leader in 1988, two-time MVC Player of the Year, and then he was MVC Tournament MVP. His number is retired by where he went to college. His points, 14,000. Basically good for 14 points a game, 3.6 rebounds a game, and 1.7 steals per game. He has one All-Star appearance in his career that spanned 13 seasons. Do you know who player A is?
you said from 90 what to
1988 to 2001.
88 to 2001, first round pick.
Correct. He was taken 6th overall by the Clippers.
So
went to-
about the Clippers. Never
he went
played
to
for the
Br-
Clippers.
Yeah, no. He went to Bradley.
Like that, like okay, who? Let's see. Went to Bradley. He's on the Bulls championship team, right?
No, he was not.
So he didn't win the ring with the Bulls.
No, he played for the Chicago Bulls from 1999 to 2000. So after Jordan left.
Oh, tough. That's tough. Talk about missing the beat. How many? The Bradley. I feel like I should know this.
You should know this.
The Bradley. That narrows it down. I'm trying to think of like who the hell has made the league out of Bradley.
Yeah,
Is
he
he a
played for
big
the. No, he's a guard. He played for the Sixers, Hornets, Supersonics, and Bulls.
Sixers, Supersonics. Sixers, Hornets, Supersonics, Bulls.
He actually played for the Hornets twice.
Played for the Hornets twice.
Mm-hmm. His number 33 is retired by the Bradley Braves. He's also got a bronze in 1980 in Seoul in the
And
Summer
Seoul,
Olympics. Yeah, Seoul. Sorry, yeah, thank you.
South Korea.
Yeah,
This, hmm, who is this?
this is Hershey Hawkins.
Oh, yeah, I don't think I would have got that one.
Like I thought about going saying he went up against the Bulls in the finals, but based on the teams he played for, I think they would have given it away. Maybe.
No, I don't think I would. No, hell no. I would have not. I wouldn't have got that one.
All right, so yeah, player A
Yeah,
is Hershey Hawkins.
that's a good
Player
one.
B went to Florida. All right, he played 12 seasons in the NBA from 2005 to 2017. He played for the Knicks, the Warriors, the Celtics, the Mavericks, and the Spurs. He made 2 All-Star games. He won 1 league championship.
That's David Lee.
Um, oh, man. All right, fine. All right, fine. He was NBA third team in 2013. He was an
My
All-Star in 20.
bad.
Second team All SEC, McDonald's All American, Mr. Show Me Basketball in 2001. Averaged basically 13, 10, and 2.
My bad, bro.
You're good, man. You're good. David Lee versus Hershey Hawkins.
Oh, okay. Damn. Oh, so how many career points did Hershey Hawkins have?
He had 14,470, good for 14.7 points per game.
Yeah. Okay, and given the time that he played, that's a certified bucket.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, he was the NCAA season scoring leader in 1988. Like
bro,
the dude,
bro,
the
like,
dude he went to Bradley too. Like,
right, that's a bucket, bro.
yeah.
And okay, so I don't really, I don't know a lot about Hershey Hawkins. Like, I really don't, and that's crazy. Like, because I'm like considering the basketball savant I know myself to be, like not too many, like not too much gets past me. Like,
Yeah, I didn't expect to stump you. Like
yeah,
I did stump you with Jose Calderon the last time we did one though. But
yeah, like it took me a while. It took me a while to get that. It took me a while to get him, but this, so like David Lee. Okay, we watched David Lee from literally start to finish, right? Florida, Knicks. He was always one of those dudes that if he put it together, he would have been phenomenal. Like any like several players before him and after him, injuries just kept getting in the goddamn way. Like that's just flat out. That's just what happened, right? Like it took him. Like he bounced around the league for a minute. Like he goes to Golden State, finds a suit, like finds some stability, right? Finally, finds some kind of stability. Culminates that into the lone championship that he won, and he was a.
I mean, he did a lot of sacrificing for that team that did win the title. Like he sacrificed minutes and playing time and role. Like his numbers could have been even.
He sacrificed. Yeah, he sacrificed a lot, right? Like you go from that to, like he sacrificed a lot. Like you go from a starter, like you're normally a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Insert guys like Draymond Green, insert other bigs,
Mooney. I mean, all those guys.
So it's like, and it's not just him, but it's like because like other players did the same thing, right? Like Iguodala was a starter on this team, and it's like, all right, we're gonna have to move you to the bench, that kind of thing. So like, yeah, like he, like kudos to him for having the maturity to be like, all right, if this helps us win, if this helps me win, if this helps me have the most success in my career that I'm probably ever gonna have, then so be it. Hershey Hawkins did not win a ring because, like you said, he played the Bulls in the finals. He lost. I think that's probably the only finals team he was on.
It's true. Yeah, because all of his other stops were in the Eastern Conference, and he ran into Jordan.
And then he goes to the Bulls after Jordan.
Yep.
What was David Lee's career numbers? Just the numbers.
So 13.5 points per game, basically 9 rebounds, and then he had basically 2.5 assists.
How many like career points? Like how many?
11,230.
11,000. He won. Damn, he's not. He's not in the 10,000 rebound club.
He's not 7,320.
See, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, if he had like if he had 5 years of solid double play, he definitely would be at least 13,000, 10,000 boards, right? At least. I gotta go David Lee. Give me David Lee.
I'm gonna go Hershey Hawkins. Hershey Hawkins was like when he was on that Supersonics team, man. He was a bucket on that team. He was really good on that Supersonics team that played up against Jordan in the finals.
And Io just gained the Hawks.
There you go. His best season was with the Philadelphia. The year that he was an All-Star, he averaged 22 points that season. He shot it at 47% from the field, he played 40 minutes a night basically.
Who, David Lee?
No, Hershey Hawkins in 99.
Yeah. But like again, like when we talk about this, like I legit don't think people understand the amount of minutes and like the stuff that these dudes put on their body. Right, like
Hershey Hawkins played basically 39 minutes a night, averaging 47%, 40 from 3, 88% from the free throw line. So yeah, I'm gonna go Hershey Hawkins, but I think that's
okay. It's close, right? Like I don't like again when we do this, this is what we really should do. Like we really should focus on like the older players, like the players that was playing before either of us were like really born or really understood what the game of basketball was, because it wasn't like this load management thing wasn't a thing. It was like
for sure it was.
So you said like Hershey Hawkins.
He played 80 games that season at 40 minutes a night. Like
that's the thing, like right.
And this is another thing. So his games played from 98 to 88, right? So 79, right. 82, 80, 81, 81, 82, 82, 82, 82, 82.
Like, bro, like, and that's the thing. So like they ain't no sugarcoating. They ain't playing 35, 40. Like, no, it is flat out 40 minutes a night.
Yeah.
So like you playing 40 minutes one night, and then you go to the next game and you play another 40. And like imagine like the back-to-backs. Like, so you having back-to-back games of 40. Like 40 minutes, right, bro. Like I will my hats off to the players that like the players of the past, because I don't think David Lee ever averaged over 35 a game.
Man,
minutes.
Season likely over for Tannehill.
Oh yeah, you ain't see that? Yeah. He's
gone. Their season's over. Anyways,
I'm still going David Lee. I still gotta go. I didn't come over to Go Talk today because I was thinking of one, but like I'll save it for next week. So I'll go next week.
Love it.
And
but yeah, that's been our episode of the crossover. We talked about the Bulls, we talked about the Brooklyn Nets, we talked about All-Star voting, and then of course we talked about GOAT Talk. Who do you rather have, David Lee or Hershey Hawkins?
I'd rather go David Lee. It's close though.
I'm going Hershey Hawkins, baby. Hershey Hawkins was so good on that Supersonics team. Like, go watch some of his highlights when he was on that team, man. He was a bucket. Like, for real.
I am not denying that. I'm really not like so like. And that Sonics team, what? That Sonics team won what, like 60 some games? They pushed us to
6 games, I think, right?
Yeah, they put
But
they put.
But yeah, that's been the crossover. I've been David Huff, and there's my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Thank you very much for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Games of the week will air tomorrow, probably with music. So keep an eye out for that.
Wait, before we so like check this out, right? So I just pulled up David Lee's numbers, and like this literally be the last thing. So like he goes to the Knicks, right? Like he at 17, 29, 29, 34, 37. 36 30, by this point he's in Golden State, so 36,
he played
37.
a billion minutes too.
So like the year he wins the championship, the year they win the championship, his minutes are literally cut in half. Yeah. Right? He goes from 33 to 18. his minutes cut in half, his points cut in half. He goes from averaging 18 and 9 to basically 8 and 5. That's sacrifice.
It is. Yep. Not every player would make that sacrifice. So
hell no.
But yeah, that's been our show. Keep an eye out, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know down in the comments section what you think about any of the takes we had today. I've been David Huppin. Right there is Mr. TJ Hopkins. And TJ, what do we do here at the prom, my friend?
We bring the heat, and we are gonna need it. Stay safe out there.
Stay safe out there and stay warm.
Like seriously, like if you revert from all kinds of travel, if you have to, like don't put yourself in a situation where you're gonna have to need help.
You guys are getting the severe weather tomorrow. We're getting it on Friday. So if you're gonna be if you're through any of that area, please be safe. I've been David Huffin. Right there is TJ Hopkins. We'll be back here tomorrow breaking down games of the week. Actually, probably just do that with music. We'll see. But yeah, you guys have a good night. Stay safe, brother.
And I'll send you that right now.
Okay.